Well, hello and welcome to this edition of River City Blue. I'm your host, Corporal T.B. Scearce. We appreciate you joining us. And in case you haven't noticed, we've got a slightly different backdrop to today's show. We're out at the Pittsylvania County Agricultural Center at the Southern Virginia Youth Career Expo. And over the next few minutes, we hope to showcase some of the events that are going on here today, and also to go over the law and public safety side of the event. What we're hoping to showcase to the young people coming through is there is career opportunities and career possibilities in law enforcement and public safety. Everything from emergency medical technician all the way up to police, fire, EMS, all kind of things hands-on. So we're going to take a few minutes and talk to some of the officers that are manning some of these stations. Hope you'll stay tuned. All right, we're joined now by Officer Wilson of the Danville Police Department, and we're going to go over just briefly some of the equipment that Officer Wilson has on display for the students coming through the expo, and then get a bird's eye view of his opinion of what's going on here today and what he hopes the young people will take away. Officer Wilson, thank you for joining us today on River City Blue.
Thank you for having us.
Let's go over real quickly some of the items that you're wearing. If you would just kind of give us a brief rundown of what you've got on. First off, the most prominent thing that I'm seeing is, of course, your ballistic vest. So why is it important that you wear that in the field?
Well, I'm on the street crimes unit, and our daily uniform we have is the black T-shirt with the specialized pants, and so we wear our carriers on the outside to make sure we're marked at all times, you know, in our badge of authority and all that.
Right. So as you can see, this is actually marked up. It says Police SCU, which is a street crimes unit, and it has his badge here on the back. And if we'll turn him around just so, it has police on the back, so you can see that Officer Wilson is marked up, just like he said. And then we'll turn back around. Of course, he's got all the tools of the trade here. He's got his body-worn camera. Tell us a little bit about that.
This is the newest thing that the department's going to for everybody. We've had them for some time. It's a camera that we activate ourselves every time. I like using the phrase "put your foot on the pavement." Every time we step out of the car, make contact with a citizen of the city or someone in our daily routine, we turn it on, record the encounter. It improves, the response. I think a lot of the stuff we have dealing with the public in general.
That's good. And of course you've got additional light sources. You've got your radio here where you can make quick access. And of course you've got your gear belt on. Now let's move on just a little bit. We've got a marked police car here behind us. Tell us about some of the tools of the trade that the officers would use in here, from the camera systems, the computers, what that would be used for.
We have the Panasonic camera that records every time the lights come on. Every time we exceed 65 miles an hour, the camera is automatically activated. It's used and records all our traffic stops. Like I said, every time the lights come on, traffic accidents. There's also a audible source that goes with the vehicle. That's here. We wear this as well. It syncs up with the dash camera and gives an audio source within a certain distance around the vehicle.
Now this particular vehicle is equipped with a radar device and an in-car computer. So what would these two tools be used for?
In conjunction with the arbitrator camera, we also have our laptop. The laptop, we do all of our paperwork, all of our reports, all of our dispatching. We have the mobile data terminal that takes in all the information relayed to dispatch from a 911 call, given to us and then displayed on the screen so that we can actually visibly view all that information while we're en route to the call. We also have the radar unit that sits up on the dash that syncs with the antennas here, the front and the rear, to do stationary and moving radar. In the center between the two front seats here, you have the charging dock at the very rear for the mic that goes along with the camera. Just above that, you have a red indicator light, lets you know that the camera is or is not recording. The radio head unit, those red switches there are for the lights that you can see they're on now, and they're visibly lit up to let you know that they're operational. Above that is the PA system and the siren system, and then above that you see the actual hand mic we use to speak to dispatch and car to car. There's also a mag light, flashlight in there that's on the other side of the console. An additional handset mic device that we use for our public announcement system. radio and everything else is just like the standard Impala.
All right, and then let's move around to the front of the car for just a second. You can kind of give us a rundown of some of the equipment that, and this is just a fraction of some of the equipment that the officers carry in the car with them.
There's bloodborne pathogen kit, flares, crime scene tape. This device here is used like a frisbee in the event someone is in the river, you need to do a swift water rescue. This can be tied off and thrown to the person, and it floats. There's a rope system that's around the edge here, and it floats so that they can grab onto something, and you can basically tow them in if you need to. In addition, there's also a teddy bear that we keep in the vehicle. In the case that we come in contact with a small child that has experienced some kind of a traumatic event, it's just one other source that the police department takes the extra step to make sure we have that positive interaction whenever possible. There's also like hazmat books. I think I said crime scene tape, first aid kits, that kind of thing.
So one of the things you would like for the young people coming through these different stations to take away from this today?
I think any positive police interaction with the public is good. I think if we take the extra step to make sure we have a presence at these kind of events, it's always a positive reinforcement. Let you know that the police aren't always what you see on the news. You know, it's usually the negative aspects of law enforcement you see on the news. And anytime you have a interaction with a young person where they can come and talk to you, see that you're down to earth, you're just someone that they can approach whenever they have a problem. That it's not something that they need to be afraid of us just because we wear all this gear. We don't need to be feared by the general public, and that's an image that needs to be promoted, and that's something that I feel like this helps with.
And not to mention, these kind of interactions might actually be the catalyst in one of these young people's lives that would lead them to a very rewarding career in law enforcement.
I mean, especially something like where we're here today, where this career expo, where these young people at a very formidable time in their educational career can come and see different aspects of how we do things, actually sit in the car, see what we actually experience on a daily basis, the environment we reside in, our office, if you will, you know. So it's good. I think it's a really rewarding thing for someone that is considering a career in law enforcement actually be able to put their hands on the equipment that we use, and that's a good thing about this.
Well, that's a good thing, Officer Wilson. We thank you for taking a few minutes on River City Blue.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so what we have here at this particular station is one of our crime scene technicians, Officer Darnell, and she is demonstrating how we dust and lift for fingerprints. So she's already applied a black powder to the tile surface there. The fingerprints were already put in place by the participant, and then we'll lift those using a special lift tape and apply those to a clean white surface where they can be saved and documented as to where they came from, and then later examined forensically for matches should we have a situation where a crime has taken place and we need to match up fingerprints or other evidence that has come from the crime scene. This is just one of many aspects of forensic work that the technicians do on a daily basis. Another one of the stations that we have going on today is dusting and lifting for fingerprints on other surfaces such as doors or windows. And there's a variety of evidence that can be collected from such sources as these, and we've got several set up here. And what we've done right here, we've started to apply some of our black powder, and you should be able to start seeing some detail pop up right here. And what we have right here, you have a series of different oblong and square shapes that have started to appear in this dust. So in a situation where we'd had a break-in or something like that, a trained technician would automatically know that that is most likely consistent with a shoe wear impression, okay? So just for today's purposes, as you can see on the bottom of my shoe, that pattern very closely resembles what we have. So the technician would go ahead and dust that and capture that print using the same tape method that we witnessed earlier, and they would save that. And then if a suspect is developed later, they'll be able to compare that with footwear that the suspect may have on or have in their possession. And in just a moment, I'll show you how that actually works. So what we have here is an enlargement of a shoe wear impression that was taken from an actual crime scene. Now, this is the enlargement right here. Now, the interesting thing about this is that everyone wears their shoes just a little bit differently. Some people walk to the inside, some people walk to the outside, some people walk on the heels. So those particular wear patterns is what makes this particular shoe or this particular impression very unique as opposed to every other shoe the same brand. So this particular lift right here was taken from a crime scene, and you can actually see some markings over here where there was wear indicators, and there's some more wear indicators here. This was the actual shoe that was collected from the suspect. And this particular case right here was several years old, one that the technicians actually processed and actually got a conviction in a crime based on a footwear impression. Okay, what we've got here is a DNA stain or a protein stain. We had a towel that we soaked with some animal blood, and under the ultraviolet light spectrum with the appropriate goggles, you can actually, even though this towel has been washed, you can still see the blood. We've applied a substance called luminol, which makes the blood glow that bright fluorescent, almost a white-like appearance under that ultraviolet light spectrum. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to follow, okay, we need to start with your right hand. So we're going to start with your right thumb, okay? So just relax your hand, all right? We're going to put this right on here. We're actually going to bring this out here. Hang on just a second. Let me bring this back. Okay, now we've rolled that print on there. So this is one way of capturing fingerprints for record keeping and for comparison, okay? This is called the ink and card set. So we would do a complete set of fingerprints and put those on a card if you had been charged with a crime, all right? And every time that you're charged with a new crime, these cards have to be done. So you think you could finish this card out? All right. We're joined now by Tierra Dillard with the Martinsville-Henry County 911 Center. And one of the stations that we have set up was very graciously provided today in a combination effort by Pittsylvania County and Martinsville-Henry County as well. So tell us a little bit about this station and what the children that are coming through here are able to do.
Okay. Each station is set up as a CAD station, a computer-aided dispatch station that we actually use in Martinsville-Henry County. It's a standalone station, so it actually doesn't affect what's going on in our county right now, but they're able to enter a call, and then Pittsylvania County has graciously lent us the use of their radio frequency, and so they can put in the call and dispatch the call to the officer in the car.
So the actual car that's sitting out behind us that we'll look at in a few minutes, there's actually a deputy in that car that is allowing the kids to transfer the calls back and forth.
Absolutely. They're dispatching to his number. He's answering and responding to the calls, and he's being very kind as his number has been called at least 1,000 times already today.
And that's a good thing. And what we're trying to showcase again, because this is a career expo, that you know, the things that you get involved in out here on a daily basis, they're not just jobs. It has to be a calling in order to be involved in a career. And you and I have had this conversation before. You know, a lot of times in the field, and I'm going to put a plug in here for our 911 telecommunicators, police, fire, and EMS, we're referred to as the first responders. And we are actually the field responders. The first responders are the men and women that sit behind these consoles on a daily basis and actually take that initial call. So this is a very rewarding career, and it is a very exciting career. Is there anything else you would like to add to, you know, what's going on with the dispatch centers, how they're changing and evolving with new technology?
No, our center is now doing EMD. I know that Danville does EMD. That is a great tool that we've been given. So just the technology and the things that are coming around, it's just helping us actually be that first responder, because we can give you that information that may help you save a life or sustain a life until your help actually gets there. So we're just great for the technology that's coming out to help us.
And just down the road, you know, the next gen 911 systems that they're moving into, they're going to be capable of receiving text, video, pictures. So if somebody is actually eyewitness on the scene, you guys are going to see that as it's unfolding and be able to give even more pieces of information to the field responders. Well, Tierra, we thank you for joining us today on River City Blue, and we appreciate you for what you do in the 911 Center.
Thank you.
Well, we're joined now by Pittsylvania County Sheriff Mike Taylor. And Sheriff Taylor, we thank you for being with us on River City Blue.
Thank you, Corporal. I appreciate you taking your time being here today.
Outstanding. So we're at the Southern Virginia Youth Career Expo, and this has been an exciting day so far. And we're told over the next couple of days, close to 5,000 young people are going to come through here. Is that an amazing number or what?
It really is when you stop to think about it. And during the planning phases, you hear those numbers, but then when this morning about 9 o'clock, when those buses started rolling in and the whistle blew, so to speak, reality came into check. So, and it's been really a good day, and the kids have been enthusiastic. They've asked a lot of questions and hands-on with not only public safety, but everything here that the community has to offer for these kids coming up.
And one of the things, because we're in the law and public safety side of things, we've kind of made our rounds through. We've looked at some of the things that we do in the field, the fingerprinting and the DNA evidence and things like that, equipment. We did a quick stop over in the mobile command center. And I understand that you guys have a kind of an interesting link set up with this car right behind us for the kids today. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, part of the process today is the kids can come in. They can actually be part of the dispatched call. Just if an emergency call was coming in, then the kids can actually take the call in the car and respond to the call. And they're really getting into that. I mean, they're really taking it seriously, more so than what I thought that they would. But they really get into it, and they like the hands-on approach. They like sitting in the car. And I think one thing it does for public safety, all of us in public safety, is it really puts a good face to let these kids know that we're there as a help, and we're there as a resource for them. Hopefully, some of the kids will take away today that they want to be in public safety. And what they need to do to get to that point in their education. Education being a very important part of their life. So that's what our goal is to put the best face we can out there, let the kids know what we have available for them.
And the other thing too, and we've tried to highlight this with the other officers and telecommunicators we've talked to, this is not just a job. This is a career, and a career has to be somewhat of a calling, because you know, this obviously isn't the highest paid thing that you can get into, but from a rewarding standpoint, you know, you can pillow your head at the end of your shift and realize that you've made a positive contribution to the community. So we hope the kids will take that away as well. So tell us just a little bit about some of the other things you guys have on display. You guys got a great display here. We've got some equipment and whatnot. Tell us a little bit about that.
We do. We have, there's the bell for the next round. What we have is a display set up with just some of the equipment that the officers use on a day-to-day basis. They really get a kick out of trying on the ballistic vest, how heavy it is, and what those officers have to endure during a day's time to keep themselves safe. Unfortunately, there are people out here that want to harm law enforcement. So just some of the tools of the trade, so to speak. We have a short video of what sheriff's officers do, not only here, but all across the state. And when we talk about law enforcement, it's not one agency, another agency. It's all law enforcement, federal, state, and local, that it takes to get the job done at the end of the day.
And that's a good point, and that's why, as part of this law and public safety, we wanted to include you guys. And Sheriff, we thank you for taking a few minutes with us on River City Blue.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. Appreciate what the community has pulled together here. I just think it's a great day for our community. People should really come out and see what is available, not only in public safety, but just across the gambit. What this community, we're beginning to pull ourselves out of that economic crunch, so to speak, and the educational piece here that's being put on today is just paramount.
So we really got to roll up our sleeves and get ready for next year.
We really do. I can see this being an annual event.
Absolutely. Well, there you've heard it from Sheriff Mike Taylor, Pittsylvania County. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of River City Blue. We thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next month for another exciting episode. And we hope you've taken some more away on what law and public safety actually has to offer. And if you're interested in a career, be sure to check us out on the web, www.danvilleva.gov.